Well, looks a little different tonight, doesn't it, everyone? It's the Dr. Brentley and Alexander Storm show. We were just renaming it. Not going to call it PPI. We'll just roll into that and everything. You might be noticing two members are gone. Well, guess what? This is what happens when you upgrade your travel to the cheapest airlines on the face of the planet. They don't roll like us, brother. No yachts for these brothers. How are you doing, Dr. Brentley?
Well, I could be better. I'm in the hospital ward at Hogwarts over here. Got hit with a stray curse in my shoulder.
I've noticed that. I noticed that, man. You've been having a hell of a week right there. But you know what? The trooper that he is, nothing can stop Dr. Brentley from being on the show tonight. That's what's
Well,
absolutely amazing.
I had a little help from my friend, back medication and weed gummies. So,
I don't know if we should have
I'm,
mentioned that in the first
well,
part of
I'm
the
just
show.
saying they're CBD. They're 100% legal in
Uh,
California.
yeah, okay. Well, look, man, we got an interesting show tonight. While there's no two, it's also has two. So we'll actually knock this out. And if you ever watched the retrospect vault or the retrospect, well, you've seen Dr. Brentley and I do this, so we got this. But we're going to do the rundown tonight. You noticed, and everybody else in the toy kingdom have noticed that tariffs are starting to hit again. And we've got a little breakdown of what might affect mostly import toy purchasers. So it might not affect us here, but we're going to go over that. Don't worry, that won't be too long. We're just going to glance over that briefly. Neither one of us are any forms of attorneys or anything else to know what this crap is about anyway. So we'll
But
knock
you
that
can
out.
still take our advice, on all matters legal.
Exactly. Disclaimer at the bottom. Don't believe them. From there and everything we start off the show with pre-order Mafia, which is a lot of stuff this week that's coming up and some previous stuff coming up. We're going to talk about a couple of Marvel Legends releases. Got an interesting thing from the Target Fall Geek-Out Week 1. Wasn't what we were expecting. And Amazon, ooh, they do it again. They sneak up and sneak in some orders early. Don't you hate when that happens? Then our money segment of SKN News. Something's coming back from the 80s. Good or bad, we'll see how that goes. And the rumor alert. Were two Avengers fighting on the set? Have to think about that. And we got some upcoming stuff. They're all our schedules and everything else. And you know what? Sit back and relax. This is Pistol Plastic Inc. on Friday night. The Dr. Brentley Alexander Storm show. Let's roll the title, brother. Oh yeah, we probably should have chopped out two people from the actual title this week. Should have done the
Save some
custom
time.
version. Like I said, hey, we're going to check into the mailbag. Thank you everybody for joining us on the SKN Shadow News Network. And if you haven't done this, please do this so now. Subscribe and hit your comments in. We're going to look at the mailbag pretty soon. And hey, if you know anybody sitting home on Friday night not doing anything and they're into toys, they're into films, and they're into comics, tell them to pop into the show. We're going to take a look at the old bag right here. Let's see. Let's roll this up right here and see who's coming in. Well, we actually know who's rolling in. Here you go. Commander Bly. Thank you as always. Something. Looking forward to some quality company while I built a squadron of lack hats, which actually, lat, is it lat? Okay. I keep getting this wrong. But anyways, here's the thing. I know he's also putting on these hats that are fantastic. We saw Tommy on the Sarlacc toy chest wearing this. It's absolutely, check them out and everything. Commander Bly, if you want to put your Instagram information up, you should be ordering this if you're into this kind of stuff.
And first of all, I don't know if you saw the 6-hour marathon that Tommy did.
I did on Blitz Transmission.
He had the version 1 of the hat, which was kind of put together. On the Sarlacc toy chest, he had a much better version, the 2.0.
Version 2.
That's the one that we all need. I'm on enough pain meds that I would wear one right now.
He probably had the 1970 version of it. And then when he got this show, it was a new CGI.
Oh, special edition.
Creative Lights also wishing everybody a happy Friday and future happy Labor Day, fellas. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. We appreciate that. Like it says, I don't want to say anything, but Rad and Chet kind of ruined the show. Thank you, sir. We need to send you $1.99, sir. And also, Commander Blythe wishing you well, sir. So thank you so very much.
You.
And he sends a super chat of $1.99 for the Dr. Brentley Get Well Fund. That'll definitely do it right there. He's feeling better already and everything.
Yes.
We got the judge in, Judge Dreads. Thank you, sir, for popping in on Friday night. Appreciate you being here. You know, look, we don't ever get political on the show. We never take it in that kind of way. You know, we've heard some things and everything. It's not about what administration's right or whatever's doing right. We don't care about any of that stuff. It's about the toys, damn it. That's all we care about is about the toys. So tonight, purely, we're going to keep that out of chat and everything. All we're going to do is talk about this situation, explain a couple of things we might not know. So we'll start off tonight with the Toy Wars Continue. Yes, that's right. We have some Latin term that's up on the board right here. Dr. Brentley, you want to give them the correct pronouncing of the Latin term?
Well, supposedly de minimis, but every time I see this, I look at it's the minimis.
Yeah,
and you know,
I saw this. Probably need an expert that speaks Latin to know. So anybody out there, there's the proper translation. But we're going to say de minimis.
De minimis.
We're going to run that tonight and everything. But that ends.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so everybody wants to know, all right, what's the difference between the 15% tariffs they put on early year and the rest of the kind of those things? This one took a little bit of research, not a lot. That's it, a little bit of research. We did the bare minimum here. But we'll run that down. And Dr. Brentley, want to give them what this exact term means and what they can expect.
What is de minimis? The de minimis exemption allowed packages valued at less than $800 to be shipped into the U.S. tariff-free. The exemption comes from the Tariff Act of 1930, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, which oversees tariff collection and package inspection at ports and airports, estimated that $1.36 billion in shipments into the U.S. were de minimis in fiscal year 2024. The total value of de minimis shipments hit $64.6 billion that year, the second highest after 2020. Which retailers are affected? The end of the exemption does not affect major retailers like Target, Costco, and Walmart because those companies typically ship in bulk containers that exceed $800 in value and are already being taxed. Instead, the exemption largely applied to businesses that have a direct-to-consumer model, including Chinese e-commerce brands Shein and Temu, and small businesses overseas. Other businesses, like manufacturers that directly sold to consumers on platforms like Amazon and Walmart storefronts, also accounted for a big chunk of de minimis packages, which means the big corporations are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Guy that's trying to start his own business, a small business, is completely screwed.
Yeah, we'll break this down even to the other version. We'll hit the street in the back in the airport. They call it jive talk and everything. Yeah, you see, the government wasn't getting no money, and they want a little bit more. And Temu and anybody else buying either bootleg or sometimes you get the real figures from Temu. It all depends. It's a crapshoot when you get that. But if you did get a Marvel Legends or a McFarlane or something that was legit, you know, you didn't probably end up paying anything for it because it was so cheap coming in and everything. But now they're looking at, you know, it doesn't matter what the dollar and situation, they're trying to get every parcel from that. And there's been a bunch of countries that said they will not ship. There's a bunch of stuff sitting all over the place because in certain places I've heard and actually doing a little research, DHL cannot actually, they don't have the infrastructure to pay and do these type of things. FedEx and a couple of people. So if you did order something and it came through FedEx, you may be hit with an extra fee on top of that because United States Postal Service and FedEx does have the capabilities of actually paying for smaller tariffs, but charging you before they deliver. So you might want to start looking at that in mail. Judge Dredd does say something that's very interesting, and he says, "I'm screwed since I buy a lot overseas toys." You're not the only one, my friend. You're not the only one, because there's people again. Temu is it's almost like when you go to like back in the day Chuck E. Cheese or any kind of fair, and you did the grabber machine. That's like Temu. You put it in, and maybe it grabs out the legitimate one, or maybe you get nothing, or maybe you get something, but a lot of people have hit Temu and a couple of these places, Alibaba and the things like that. And they've been able to score actual Mayfexes and a couple of things. That technically does not happen all the time, but it does happen most of the time. And Commander Blythe, I thank you for that translation. Thank you, sir. I'd like to break it down for us regular people in the world so we can understand that. Now, again, while I did go to UFC, that doesn't mean I graduated from it. So don't go quote me on the educational package right here. You may want to consult an actual real attorney.
Two USC students right here. I went to the summer film school for about a month. So
I think I hold the school record for the quickest academic probation in I think that's probably on record right there. There's probably like 3 football players and I'm above them.
Well, you still did better than Alexander Storm, so
well, like I said again, hey, this is probably going to affect a lot of people that do buy from the smaller services, or if you're like, I know there's a lot of, not just from Temu, but a lot of import companies. I don't know if this is going to affect major things like Bandai and everything, but I know there's a lot of secondary Chinese and Japanese toy companies that send things through standard mail, and a lot of people were able to get certain import figures. This is probably not going to affect anything from the United States part when it comes into it. When I'm saying like all these major companies, Hasbro, the rest, none of that's going to affect it. I don't even think even some of our smaller Kickstarter campaigns will be affected by this. So, this is just purely for anybody that's buying toys out of the country at some of those other small regions. Now around the world is probably going to impact a lot of things. And there's a lot of people scrambling like they did the first time certain tariffs were hit, but and we'll see. This is always, everything could update. This is happening right now. This law was in 1930, which is kind of surprising out of all things that they decide now just to, close to the 100-year anniversary. Well, let's take a re-examine of that. But we'll definitely see if this is going to affect any of the middle grade companies. We got to see how that works.
Yeah, it's wonder if Emmy and Hobby Genki stores will be affected. I mean, yeah. It all depends on how these people are getting product from overseas into the United States. And if that's your model and sending it through the regular mail, that might be problems.
Yeah, and that's what's going to definitely happen. It also brings us up, and this is very well true. Tommy's hit with a $1 tariff charge for Big Bad Toy Store. Here's the one thing I'll say about that. Some of this is kind of like, look, for Big Bad to sit there and say, hey, we're going to hit you with a tariff when they're usually always priced $1 more than everyone else. So if you buy a Marvel Legend for them, there's always up $1. So technically they made $2 on this by putting in the tariff fee. They could have ate that at Big Bad Toy Store. It's one of those things where they've gotten away with that. Entertainment Earth, a couple other people have really kind of, I like to call them bad contributors on this, because, some of these companies are making pretty good money off of that tariff scenario. And I've also seen some of these bigger companies, other than not just toy companies, but also some of the actual some of the toy companies. I'm sorry, not just the toy store retails, but they're hitting people with some major tariffs and stuff. Mm-hmm. Sideshow hit some people with some that jumped up in price. I saw a friend of mine. He was like, "Damn, this is almost $75 extra in tariffs." and I don't know if there's a return policy or anything at that point. I'll be like, nah, bro, I'm good on that. And if you do return it, do you get your tariff charge back? That's interesting. We're going to actually, I don't want to test that myself, but anybody out there.
And if you're reselling it, am I going to resell it with the tariff cost now built into it? It's like, yes, this was a $200 figure, but now it's $275 because of the tariff I had to pay 5 years ago.
Absolutely. And then Judge says something that's nothing's being shipped from Japan. That is true. Japan, I heard India, I heard a couple other spots that said at this moment they were discontinuing service to the United States. And so, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people being hit by that.
And if you wait long enough, these, you know, the United States will probably cave and just, you know, reverse course once again. And, you know, then they don't have to pay these tariffs. Now, the people that are screwed are the people in the meantime in this middle section that probably had to pay the tariffs, and they might not be there in the future.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Some of the little guys are going to hurt by this, and there's a lot of like resellers out there that, you know, there's their bread and butter to do that from import. A lot of people import the figures here and then sell them at, you know, pretty reasonable prices here. That's going to jump that up. So, you know, and then also not to mention what is also in transit at this moment that, you know, that you can't get, or if you will ever get it. That's one of the major problems right there. And just as I said, they're charging me $10 more. Oh my God. That sucks.
You know, the other thing is that these companies can probably make a small profit, because if they're, you know, have to pay $9 in tariffs, maybe they charge a handling fee. So they charge $10 to the customer. So they make $1 out of every, you know, tariff transaction. They, you know, they don't have to be forthcoming with exactly how much tariff is being paid and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely. So they are basically taking my deposit out. This is let's see. An appeals court said today that Trump can't do tariffs like that. Well, we'll see. You know, and, you know, like I said, when it comes right down to it, it's like, you know, you know, government's going to do what governments do. Our main purpose is just to make sure where it's one side and all or the other, that we let you guys know about it. You know, hopefully this is not going to affect too many things. That's out of larger companies. Hopefully some of these, you'll find some way to get over this. You know, I'm sure it might be some transit thing of one company to another company to another company to, you know, to another country to another thing. You never know how. There's a way to always get around it. I'll tell you that. Hey, Olsen Warlock or Purple Gang brothers, how you guys doing? Hey, and if you guys haven't checked that out, we're on Friday nights. Make sure you check out our buddies on Saturday nights. You know, Purple Gang. Make sure you're checking them out because they put on a hell of a show. So thanks for popping in, bro. You know, from there, you know, we talked about the doom and gloom. We're trying to give you a good perspective on things. Don't let it tie you down. Just put a little smile on your face. And you know what? It's gonna be time for Pre-Order Mafia.
Leave the McFarlane. Take the mezco.
You know, that line always gets me because, you know, I doubt we'll ever get Topic Crawler to pop on this show. I'll tell you that.
Well, although I don't know that he would disagree with us if you've got a choice between one of his figures and a mezco.
I got to tell you right now, that's exactly that comment right there is exactly why he won't show up to the show now. Thank you so very much. Please, if he watches any other episode but this, we might be all right. But now we're cutting.
Sorry, Uncle Todd.
Also, Warlock also says all the love and the positivity in the midst of the inevitable gloom. You're absolutely right, brother. Well, we over here on Pre-Order Mafia, we kind of do this, let everybody know what's breaking down during the week, and we give our opinions on what we think about some of these pre-orders coming up, because it seems like every damn week of this summer there has been more and more pre-orders coming. So we want to make sure we're giving you guys our opinions on it. Expert, you can say, doubt, but our humble opinions. We got a 3-tier system. Dr. Brentley, you want to break down the tiers to everyone at home?
It's a made figure. A made man in plastic. Forget about it. It's got some charm, but don't break your back for it. And needs to sleep with the fishes. This one's getting whacked straight to the toy graveyard. And then there may be a secret fourth level for the ones that are so bad that it doesn't even fit on our scale.
And in your best Mafia voice, Dr. Brentley.
I'm walking here.
We're probably actually just like go and get like a hardcore like Mafia Italian guy They actually do that line, just record him where he comes in, he just does the tear kind of part down. We'll work on that in the future. But hey, got some good stuff this week, everybody. Get yourself your seatbelts clocked in. We're about to get all the way into the 100-mile-per-hour zone with this. Let's go. Actually, Marvel Legends. Now, they premiered this at Fan Expo Canada, and they had some in person here. And this one was a couple of weeks ago. They had the retro card black Doctor Doom that sold out almost immediately over at Hasbro Pulse. And everybody's like, oh, man, that's the definitive Doom, and it kind of sucks. I won't be able to get that. And then a couple of weeks later, they pop out with this one. And everyone that didn't get it, myself included, was absolutely happy that they didn't get that one. And I could spend my money on September 3rd for Emperor Doom. Wow, bro. This is a really good looking figure, man. What do you think about it, bro?
The cape. The cape is everything. Dude, it's like worth it for the cape. It's beautiful. I love the look of it. Man, really cool. And even see, it's like sometimes these companies can do the added effect stuff really well.
Yeah,
it looks like some, smoke conjuring magic stuff on his arm. Some of these, I forget what one it was a couple of weeks ago. It looked terrible, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And it should have been. It was one of the ice ones or something.
I think
where it was supposed to be ice, and it's like that should have been a home run, but they couldn't do it. But this looks cool.
Yeah, Wholesome World. Like I said, I've been waiting on a decent Hellfire Gallery variants, and here we go, gorgeous. Or here we are, gorgeous. And I got to tell you, like I would agree with you, absolutely. Now, Commander Bly, being Commander Bly, has to say, fake Vader, great look. Darth Vader, great look. So, look, here's the thing. This is probably one of the definitive versions, and I know they're going to have a couple more. I was talking about this on Toy Box Chronicles. I do every week with Mr. Maddox at Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This one, I was like, this is going to be the definitive one for right now, because obviously they just had the Fantastic Four hit theaters. They've got Robert Downey Jr. Which we'll be talking a little later about. He seems like he's already went in his Doom version.
No, this is going to be the new Wolverine.
Yeah,
they're going to do, I'd say, at least 5 to 10 more within the next 4 years.
Yeah. It is. He's going to be. There'll be and the best part, they can actually use his body and just put Robert Downey Jr.'s head in there, and he, maybe a little actual strokes of paint or something. The one thing I do like about this is I like Doom's look. I think they got the mask and everything. The one exception I'll say, and I know Darth Moocher always says this as well, I would kind of probably prefer this to be a soft good cape with the wire in it, because I know sometimes, like, look, this is a character you can't put, like, Doom sitting in like a throne or anything. He's gonna be put in a position on your shelf. So I got a feeling, as they do this, that later on there's going to be a cloth version of this, and it'll have all the different. Same thing with the actual hood. It'll all be changed to that, and there'll be another one for us to buy. Hopefully, they won't call that a max.
And you're right. If you're trying to put this on your shelf and fit it with a bunch of other figures, it's like, well, he's going to have to go in the back because someone else is going to have to be in front of that.
Oh, no. Doom never goes behind, man. Doom's always in the front. You're going to have to block Spider-Man or somebody else out of the back.
No, like you could fit Dupe down there, no. In that little area of his
Dupe
cape.
would not be even in Dr. Doom's presence. Let's be honest, man. And it says wire cape will be next week's announcement. Yeah, laughing out loud. Yes, I'll give them 2 weeks. Commander Bly, they're going to give us at least 2 weeks. It'll be like, the Emperor Doom, upgrade. But if some customizers, I know somebody's at home probably working on an actual cape and sewing it right now. So you might get one that's velvet too, actually. So I've seen some of these guys who put some good stuff.
It almost looks like a Doctor Strange cape. So you could probably steal that from a Doctor Strange character if they've done one with a wire in it.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember this storyline, but isn't he actually the Sorcerer Supreme with? I think that is Doctor.
Well, that would make sense then. Why I think it looks so similar.
I think so. Again, that don't quote me here. Do your comic education on your own. But yeah, great poses. Look, I will also say the Marvel Legends team has upped it with their toy photography. Because wow, man, they've got some great shots of this character. And you're like, even though he can, he's got the cape, he can't really kind of be posed in a lot of different
Well,
positions. They did the best they could with what they got, man.
no, see, I'm saying it looks worse when he's standing just straight up. When
Yes.
he's in the dynamic poses, his legs are spread out. That looks amazing.
And tell me that doesn't make you feel a little bit of like the Jack Kirby dynamics with his like arm up. That just looks like something you think they ripped straight out of like the comics. And we head to the mailbag. What's up, Meeks? And hey, guess what? If you're looking for, we got a little announcement later in the show, but Meeks will be at LA Comic-Con with us. So the whole entire crew. That's right. Even Shadows coming out of the shadows to LA Comic-Con. So the whole entire, all the guys you normally don't see. I don't know if Steve's getting an invite and everything. We'll see how this show goes. We'll see if he's going to be in studio or with us. Steve, we'll have to let you know. So, but hey, this one it's a made figure for me, bro.
Yep, me too.
All right. We're going to move on to the next one, and it's another Marvel Legends drop. So September 3rd, we're breaking people's banks and everything. The Marvel Legends Cyclops and Jean Grey. And this one specifically, they've been launching a lot of these X-Men 97 figures. I think they did a really good job on the optics blast for Cyclops on this because you can take it apart. I've seen that Jean Grey before, but I think I don't know. I know a lot of people like her in their classic costume. This is a great classic costume. They've done that several times in Marvel Legends, but I think for optic blast, this makes at least like Darth Moocher always says on the Sarlacc toy chest, a hostage pack, because you want the Cyclops. You probably already have the Jean Grey kind of similar.
No, I was gonna say Jean Grey doesn't really go with this. To me, the Cyclops looks great. It looks modern, even 97 modern. Jean Grey looks like that's straight up the 60s version, and it's got its place, but I don't know that that's the one that you want to sell with this Cyclops.
I don't know because watching the show, I understand this is like the original versions of how they looked, and I know this is also the original version that they look like in the comics as well. I don't know if you could have paired maybe Dark Phoenix or something or what other different point, but and also sometimes too is like, do we really need the 2-packs? Because a lot of times these 2-packs don't do well and they're discounted a lot.
They wanted to sell some Jean Greys, so yes, they did need a 2-pack.
I guess so. Yeah, well, you got a point about that. Always comes down to the hostage character, but now some people may also disagree with us. They may say that hey, another Cyclops, like I wanted another Jean Grey. So it all depends on how you look at it. But
yeah, for me,
this
like
one,
it's forget about it because it's okay because of Cyclops, but I would never get it because of Jean Grey.
Yeah, since it's a half and half for me, and again, like I say, if you know a friend that needs the Jean Grey, you guys need the Cyclops, or vice versa. This works out. You guys can split the pack together. That works. But yeah, it's a forget about it. It's not sleep with fishes. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a very good point. Great job by the photographers again. They really kind of brought this out. But again, these double packs. This is also, I would say, not only a forget about it, but let it sit on the shelf for a while, because chances are this will probably be discounted and maybe a couple of weeks hitting the store. So, we'll see. I noticed that's what happens previously in the past.
I can see this being under $20 within a couple months.
I will agree with you on that one. We're going to check back. We actually put a reminder ding right there, and if we also another
Dr. Brantley prognosticator. It's like,
yeah. And also another reminder is make sure you guys are turning on those notification bells so you don't miss an episode of our live streams on Wednesdays with Pixel, Plastic, and Ink on Fridays, Wednesdays, Storybox Chronicles. Same time, both shows, 7 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys are putting those reminders, because I know YouTube likes that little pesky little algorithm, likes taking that stuff out every now and then. You think you subscribe to the channel, figure out you're not, think you got the notification bell, you don't actually have it on. So check that for us. From there, okay, we've had I think 5 weeks to pre-order Mafia, and there's almost been a Batman and Batmobile in all of them. Now I got to give McFarlane his credit. There's a term like it's like we'll go back. We'll do a baseball metaphor. Pete Rose was known as Johnny Hustle because he always ran in home base. Well, hot damn, Todd McFarlane is Johnny Hustle of the toy industry because he's getting in the home base with this DC license before 2026 shows up, and he's sliding everything he can into home plate. But this is I think this is like the fifth Batmobile we've seen in the last couple of weeks.
Honestly, I think he planned out the next 4 years of toys. And once he found out he was losing the license, he was like, get all of this into production.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was like, break up that Batman animated series, put the face of this other one. Let's get that out. So, look, I give him credit, though. The one thing that I can say that Todd McFarlane did for the DC Multiverse line, and Rat would agree if he was here, he makes the best damn vehicles out of all. And he's made some obscure vehicles. We got the Bat Beast, the 4x4 version of it. Got it finally an accurate version of the Batman Beyond. Not so accurate when it came to the 89, but look-wise, it's fantastic. He just put out last week the Batman Batmobile. He's in Batman Forever. He's in White Knight. So he does this extremely well. I've heard he still has a 66 version of the Batmobile that will come a little larger than the original with lights and sounds on it. And he's got an 89 Michael Keaton Batwing coming. So here's a guy sliding in the home base with the last of that license, but damn it, he's hitting it hard. So
look, if they have the 66 Batmobile like with the turbine,
yeah, it's supposed to come with
that's like, okay, I have to.
Yeah. Well, and several years ago, he did a standard version that they sold at a Target, and that was actually through a Fall Geek-Out as well. This one was, it was undersized. And the characters didn't fit in it well. No lights, no sounds, no anything. I purchased that one, but I was always looking for another upgrade. I didn't want to do the DC Direct version. I heard that one. So, yeah, he's got a couple of more dollars to get out of me. And I also did that campaign for the Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice Batmobile. So, yeah, McFarlane's been getting a pretty good chunk on vehicles. I'm running out of vehicle space here.
Unfortunately, it's like another home run. This looks great.
It does. And I remember the Rebirth series. I think I read a little bit. I don't believe I read. I think Tony Daniels did this, but I don't remember the Batman. But the Batman looks great with it. This is a great version of this. If you missed out on the Batman animated series one, pick this up. You're probably gonna enjoy it. For me, it's you know what? It's a made man for me, man.
Yes, definitely. It's a made vehicle. And well, let's see. Let's start taking bets. How many more Batmobiles can Todd McFarlane come out with?
I think he's got
end of the year.
I think he's got at least another 6 more that he could do. He's got, look, we're in a couple of days. We'll be in September. And I got to tell you, he's like Johnny Hustle sliding in the home plate. McFarlane's going to slide over. I would not be surprised if he just came out of nowhere with some kind of vehicle we didn't expect, and he did it in the last couple of weeks. So I give him credit, man. Great job on this. But yeah, definitely, this is a made figure for us. We'll definitely be picking this one up. Now, here. Okay, so this is week 1 of the, I would like to say, the cash grab that Target likes to call the Fall Geek-Out. And that's their, collector-centric selling points of the week and everything. Everybody's kind of doing that now. There's a Walmart collector con, which the term con is appropriate for that. and we get this. And they do a couple of ones. They do a summer version and then a fall version. I'm sure they'll do a winter version too. Let's just be honest. They're gonna every season version. They could do it every week. They would. Well, from August 29th all the way into the October 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, every Friday they will drop one of these down, or a couple in this case. So week 1 they start off at Dr. Brentley. I'm gonna say this. I love Legos. We all know that my co-partner, Mr. Maddox, loves them. I don't know if this was a week 1 drop. I think this is like you're coasting the week, maybe 2.5, 3, and you kind of bring out the Legos Gizmo. First of all, it's like a 45-year-old franchise that not too many people remember. Like, there's a lot of people that do love the Gremlins, but if I showed this to any new kid, they wouldn't know what this was. And he comes with the 3D glasses. Like, who in the hell knows what 3D glasses are anymore? But I give the credit on this one, and it's if you want to put together. Look, I have this model, and you know this as well. I know you're a huge Indiana Jones fan, and I always, every time I see like an Indiana Jones product or something, and I think your birthday or Christmas or something's coming up, I try to get it. But I make a rule for my friends: I don't buy them Legos. I don't buy them things they have to put together. Because is it really a present if you make someone actually do the work for it? So I try to think about that, Dr. Brentley.
That's the same reason I will never go back to that steak restaurant in San Diego that makes you cook your own damn dinner.
Yeah. I could just bought the steak, sat at home and did it.
Right.
Exactly. Well,
anyway, I don't know how you turn like the cute and cuddly character into something hard, plastic, and painful if you accidentally step on it. It's 40 years old, right? Because I think it was 85 that was when the movie came out.
Well,
so
and also everyone knows this. If you were ever grown up with Legos, or you're ever a parent where children had Legos, everybody knows the indent that's on the bottom of your foot by stepping on one. Hopefully not down a damn stair, but you can definitely hear that. And actually, you're an awesome friend for friends to make friends build gifts. No one likes putting together toys like IKEA furniture. And he's absolutely that's how I think about it all the time, brother. I think to myself, like, do I want to put some shit together? Why would I get somebody else to put together?
Hey, I remember the adults were very pissed off Christmas 1979 about when they had to figure out where all the stickers went on the Millennium Falcon before I could play with it.
And I remember that too, man. Nowadays, they come with like really detailed stickers and like diagrams and everything. But yeah, I remember either that or your
does this go? Wait a sec. No, I think it can. Well, let's look at the package.
Like it's Christmas Eve, you had a family member cursing at the top of their lung trying to put together like a Power Wheel or something else like that. Son of a, and
and God help the parents that got those bikes, because we sold bicycles in a box.
Yeah.
So you had to take that home, and you're not going to give your kid a box. You're going to have to build that thing.
Or if you had the wrong kind of parents and everything, once they were like, taking a couple of drinks during the night, that would be the worst bike ride you ever had. Day one.
Well, what are all these extra pieces? Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Doesn't need brakes. He just goes back on the thing. It's great.
Are these important?
Brakes, Shout out to the 80s. Gotta love it. Actually, Commander Bly Officer Duty offered an AARP discount for this. I think they do. I think they do. I think they do.
Honestly, the fans of the original Gremlins are eligible for AARP right now.
They are.
Because it starts at 50.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And also, putting together my kids' toys the night before Christmas was truly the nightmare before Christmas. He knows that one, brother. Because believe me, I've got some smaller guys in our family now. And it's like the night before, it's like, you love them up until you're putting their gifts together. It's like, son of a, and it's like shows you haven't even watched. It's like, I can't even put this shit together. I've never seen it, So, or you buy some from Temu, like, well, I don't know what this is. It comes with no instructions, so.
But I paid $10 extra for it. That's all I know.
Came cheap and everything. Came cheap. And it was like, it says, wait a minute, fellas. I love building Gundam model kits. Well, see, there's a difference. Then we know we can send you like an actual kit, the Commander Bly. But normally my friends are like, man, you think I got the time to do this? Like, when?
Yeah, Gizmo is only 1,125 pieces. You got that kind of time.
You sit there, like, is this the brown on his back, or is it in front, or it's after a while. So, but Mr. Maddox, is a fan of this. I will tell you that. And this man has patience and everything, like almost zen-like patience. Because I've seen him put like 4,000 people. Like, yeah, bro, I can't do that
Well,
stuff.
that's the thing. I can see how it could be very calming. You know, it's in like instead of meditating, it's I'm putting this over here.
I will
I
say,
I can see the
Commander
gremlin in my head.
Commander Bly has opened himself up to something though. Meek said from this point on he'll be sending anything I need to be built to Commander Bly and everything. Just put those and DM him down. Meek, store up your in the DM in the comments or something. Put your Instagram information in so he can DM you later, so you get that address so you can send that stuff the night before Christmas, or I say several weeks. And right here in America, several weeks before Christmas, so you'll never get it back. But also I built a couple of models, some better than others. Absolutely, yeah. There's some, and that's something that kind of went away a little bit too. Because I remember as a kid,
Mhm.
we definitely did that. And actually, Commander
Well,
Bly ain't running from this, bro. He ain't running from this. All right, there you go.
no, of course, there was all sorts of bad stuff that they did back then because we had access to paint,
Yep.
lead paint with the metallic stuff in it,
Mhm.
and we're using airplane glue to put it all together,
Mhm.
which some people bought to get high, and
Mhm.
some kids like us are actually going into the store trying to put stuff together, and
Well,
yeah, it doesn't matter, they'd still sell it to you.
I'll tell you this. Thank God for GI Joe and the PSAs, because I before I had actually watched. I think it was Footloose. Show up in somebody's garage. That's how I did it. Garage down and everything, huffing, just going through and just putting it on. And then when I saw that I've been doing this wrong, no wonder I have massive headaches after that. So thank you, GI Joe, the Sunbow Corporation, for teaching us the right way to do that. You don't have to explain that to kids anymore, but we were the generations that they did put on the bottom. This thing does not really fly.
It's like, yeah, once people start dying, then they're like, oh, we should put out a little safety
Yeah,
message about that.
maybe so. It's like, let's have an animated character tell them that, and then they'll listen.
Right.
So this is week one of the Fall Geek Out. We got some other things popping on the Fall Geek Out later on that we'll be anticipating, so we're going to come back to that. Which here it is right here. Now this would have been, if you're going to go big or go home, this should have been week one. We talked about this over at Toy Box Chronicles this last week. Upcoming Target Fall Geek Outs. They did not start with these two retro card back versions, and I think I would have over Gizmo Lego, but maybe Lego paid a little bit more for the front run.
And if you're gonna do a 2-pack, I would buy this 2-pack.
I
Both of
true.
these are both cool characters. They look great, even in these are also kind of a little bit retro for Mystique there.
Yeah.
But that still looks great. It doesn't look so dated like the Jean Grey one.
Yeah.
But these are awesome.
And Commander Blaze, that storm is beautiful. Look, Mr. Maddox always says that the VHS version is one of his better ones. A couple of weeks ago, they had a X-Men 97 all in white storm. And we're like, yeah, that looks great. Give it a week. And then they had these show up, and I was like, oh, this is definitive. If you're anybody that's in the comics, this is the Storm look when it was right around the time that she was married to the Black Panther. So this is going to look great next to T'Challa sitting on the shelf somewhere. And because, obviously, there's a couple of key figures that I do have, like Lando Calrissian, Mr. T, a couple of these things. Let's keep the stereotypes going. But this is great looking characters. Meeks also said these look amazing. These are going to be the ones to look out. If we find out the dates early, we'll let you guys know. So just keep this mindful. Every Friday it starts here on the West Coast for some strange reason. It's like 8 a.m. in the morning when they're starting it. So it's like early as hell. So, and if you know anything about these events, you definitely need to be up, need to 100% be hitting that refresh button and everything else, because these things are notorious for selling out. And this may be one that you may have to track this down like several months after that. I got a feeling Storm and Mystique are really going to sell out once they come through.
Yeah, because I see people buying this on the spec market where they're like, this is going to go up in value. People are going to want this.
Absolutely. Lando, Mr. T, please tell me that you have an 18 van nearby and everything. It's coming. It's coming. And is it they have to Lando inside with a Colt 45? That's the only way, man. I've got an actual diorama builder working on a Colt 45 bottle, accurate enough and everything, with it half cocked open too, because you never seen a Colt 45 not. So so we'll let you guys know when these two pop up. So be on the lookout for them and check. And actually, this is a good segment to say check over at plasticnews.com for all your toy news. Then actually, when that information gets put there, you guys will know when it's up. Here it is. Look, I have to give the people over in the Cell Company, you know, we got a special place in our heart for all the individuals over there because they are people that love toys. This was a license that Brian, the CEO, went for. And look, previously Playmates had this, and you and I have always said it has the Star Trek line. It was always a hit and miss with Playmates. This is not an actual hit and miss. This is probably some of the best Star Wars toys we've ever seen. And we're on record of this saying this because the day that it went up, and we pulled this from last week because we are the home of Star Trek here on the SKN network. And these immediately sold out on Amazon. You cannot get these on Amazon. Now, there are still some available on Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. Price is $32.99. I know we're in the $27 to $24 figure range, but with the, you know, all the offerings and everything they do for this one's worth the money. The sculpts are fantastic. The Captain Sulu, and I think that was from either, you know, what was that? The Undiscovered
Captain
Country.
Sulu's Undiscovered Country, yeah.
Undiscovered Country. Yeah, there you go. Like I said, it looks remarkable. Or the episode of Star Trek Voyager that he was in as well. That we found out that Tuvok somehow had two careers in Star Trek. No, great writing.
No, there's a lot of cool accessories with all of these. I love their choice of characters. You know, it's stuff that we haven't gotten before.
Yeah.
And it looks great. You know, Scotty's nephew.
Yes.
You know, it's like
who would ever gave him a figure?
Right. Like
I think he was in the movie for 5 damn minutes.
There's people that are waiting just to recreate, you know, Scotty holding him up in the turbo lift.
Exactly.
Tuvix, he's a evil bastard, but you know, Janeway knew how to handle him.
Yep. And I will give Commander Bly actually ran this comment, which is very true. Star Trek has rarely got proper respect in action figure form, and that is true. They're really kind of like, you know, first of all, sometimes you need to be a fan of something to really push it forward. We know Brian Vogt is like a real fan of Star Trek. He's deeply involved into it. It was something personal. So he was going to put his all in this. And he's done, like, you've got Captain Archer from Enterprise, which I know that those were very little represented at the end that Playmates kind of run. And that's when, like, people stopped really caring about the Rick Berman era of Star Trek. But he's done some really good things too with that. Judge Dredd says, I have the Playmates team in Cyril layer for $38. Yep. And now they do Turtles probably the best and at a reasonable price too. And it says right here, Flyer Apartment.
Flyer Apartment.
And he says, Star Trek needs ships. Oh. I will say, look, if like anytime they did a 112 version of these ships, there'd be no room in our house. But I would like to see some bridges. You know, you could do a bridge play set or something. That would be good. And, you know, he was like, he stayed at his post when the trainees ran. That's what I'm saying. Since Labor Day's coming up, let's give it up for Scotty's, was it nephew? We don't even know this man's name.
Peter Preston.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Thank you. Sitting at this point and everything. That's the definition of doing your job to the end. I don't know if I would have done that, though. I would have seen that thing in the dilithium chamber. I would be like, nah, I think I'm getting to the escape pod now.
And then there's Wei Yun from Deep Space Nine.
Yep.
He was one of the clones. They kept killing him off, but he kept coming back.
Had a job for what was that? Like, did he went in, I think it was like, what, 3 seasons or so?
Yeah. He was there for a while.
Yeah. That's a guaranteed job. Oh, don't worry, we'll bring you back next week. You're dead this week, you're coming back.
Captain Jellicoe, who took over for Picard.
Yes.
He was a great captain, very different style.
Did,
than
yes.
Picard, and had everyone on their toes. But it's cool just to see this, these smaller characters. It was in 2 episodes, right? A 2-parter.
Yeah.
But that's it. And then the one, Captain Garrett,
Yep.
she's in yesterday's Enterprise.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
she's the
only what
1
5 minutes on
episode.
screen.
Right. Yeah.
So interesting, and I will tell you this: like I said, I'm looking forward. Even with Captain Sulu, I definitely need a Captain Worf down the line. I don't know if they ever make that figure, but knowing Brian, he may do that for us. I'm looking forward to these. These are just great figures. If you're looking for them again, Amazon is sold out there, but you can get over at Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth. So you're gonna have to get a secondary. I don't know if these are gonna ever hit the shelves or anything. So probably more or less fan stream. And with that, you also have the old Playmate ships. Yeah, a lot of people have the old Playmate ships. Those were actually pretty good. Some of the ones with lights and sounds
Yeah.
too. And I
No,
think Playmate's still making some of those too, because I think up until the last couple of years, we were doing a couple of them.
Yeah, I had the original Next Generation Enterprise.
Yeah.
I had the shuttlecraft as
Oh,
well.
okay. Okay.
Which that was big because it fit the characters in it.
It did. And again, hey, we definitely need a Galileo somewhere again. So from there, we'll shift in. Again, just give you a little pre-warning for your pocketbooks. If you're into G.I. Joe Classified, then you know as well as I do, they pre-ordered their behinds off earlier this year. They had things that started out earlier and said, hey, it's coming at the end of the year. Well, that doesn't regularly happen. If you're like myself, you've been finding out that polar bears and snake eyes have been showing up a month early and all kind of things that you did not expect to be popping in the mail. Well, your pocketbook's going to be hit this weekend because Amazon has moved up the days for the armored Cobra Commander that you see on top over here, and then the retro cardback Major Blood. Those are dropping, or either you should have them now, or they should be popping in throughout the weekend. And if you're into the original 13, then there's nothing more original than actually Hawk in his original greens with the MMS. And he will be moved, I believe he was towards sometime near end of November, maybe early December. That is actually coming October 1st. So just keep that in mind that whenever they put those dates on and they give you, especially with Hasbro, like 2 months later down the line, knock that off by about 30 to 25 days. You're normally probably going to get there early. So want to check that in. But I did not order the retro Major Blood. I did order the armored Cobra Commander. So I'm probably going to see that over the weekend. And obviously, I've always wanted the original 13 completed. So I did order the MMS to go right next to the SMS. So, yes.
Nice.
My pocketbooks will definitely be hitting. Yeah, I know, man. It's just like Hasbro.
Well, they were like, December, that's when people are going to be a little strapped. Let's just move it up.
Yeah. It was like, why wait till they don't have money? let's get them that. So very thoughtful of them, knowing though, by the way, New York Comic Con is coming up. They removed the 1027 event from Hasbro. So chances are in October when the New York Comic Con is going to happen, they're saying they're going to put a bunch of things for the live shows. So chances are you're going to be hit with a crap load of pre-orders in October. Then, probably one more HasLab possibly. So if there's going to be an announcement for something, it will happen at the New York Comic Con that's looking in October. So just give a little pre-warning for that. And like I said, hey, we end pre-order Mafia tonight. And we've got some SKN news that's going to hit us up. So, as usual, let's roll SKN news. That is right. From our world to your world, this is SKN News, powered by plasticnews.com. Get all your toy, entertainment, and comic news from plasticnews.com. They are our sponsors of the night. We thank them very much for the service. Great site. If you haven't been over to it, watching our actual countdown, you can actually have somebody going through and actually looking at some information and actually buying from our other partner, Holy Grail Toys, over there. So, yeah, man, our partners have been doing a lot of work, man. It makes us look a little lazy, doesn't it? We start off the night and everything. That's right. One more turbo boost. Might want to watch that song, bro. They'll hit us with copyright strike, even if you sing it badly. We've got, Kid is going on a new ride courtesy of the creators of Cobra Kai. That's right. The Netflix sensation, they're in talks to bring back Knight Rider, 1980 action drama centered around a computerized talking car. Wow, they didn't even mention the driver. Jeez. To
Yeah,
the big
centered around a
screen.
car.
Wow.
Who cares?
Yeah, Harold Hitzworth and there's that Scott Schlossberg.
Schlossberg.
Yeah, are in early talks to write the screenplay. And actually, both of them are going to actually direct as well. So that's interesting. The trio also produced via their counterpart entertainment production companies. Join Kelly McCormick and David Lotch, the Fall Guy. I don't know if they should be preaching that one out. And we're also producing through their banner 87 North and the first look deal to Universal. Well, sometimes there's certain things you need to bring back. And then there's certain times things just, we've seen Knight Rider through the years. There was standard Knight Rider. There was Knight Rider 2000. Then there was the Team Knight Rider that was a syndicated show. And then they did the Knight Rider with Val Kilmer, and it was a Mustang. And, so far they haven't found another Knight Rider that sticks. I don't know, man.
Well, the thing I like about this group, though, is they've already taken a 1980s franchise and done very well translating it to a new version.
True.
Don't we all kind of drive Knight Rider cars now? Yeah, but you don't have the turbo boost. So,
and look, I know. Look, first of all, if you're driving around in Tesla, I gotta help you because it's not quite as advanced as Kit was. Don't let it drive on its own. I can just say that. Don't do that. But
Michael,
also,
driving into the traffic.
yeah. It's like, it does the wrong ways, all kind of stuff. Just make a Kit voice for the Apple CarPlay. They did have that in the days when what was the I'm trying to think of the what was the original.
Oh yeah, like the Garmin or something.
Yeah,
like
the Garmin
that.
one. Yeah, they used to do that. They also had like Samuel L. Jackson. Hey, I told you to stop, fool. You can get those real voices right there. So, they should actually. I do know that there is there was actually a one that actually did the computer readout of the voice where you could have that too. So yeah, they've done that. I'm sure that's coming back. But let's be honest. If they do this movie, first of all, they can't use another Pontiac Trans Am. For God's sakes, no. And the second thing about it is, if that computer, if it doesn't look like some shit that we can't get in the car, like if I look in it, it's all digital screens and something, everything it looks all like mocked up, like it looks like the bridge of Star Trek Enterprise. It
needs
can't
to
look like a
a
steering wheel or something.
No, it needs to look like a Tony Stark car in Iron Man.
It can't look like there's a steering wheel. You still got to hit that button for turbo boost.
No, they did have the cool little handle steering wheel.
Yeah, but have you ever seen anybody drive one of those cars? That steering wheel was not meant to be used on the street. I saw a guy with a replica one. He almost put himself in into a wall because
it's great.
Try
as
to
long
turn
as you're
that
going
thing
straight.
Sharp.
Don't go left. Don't go right, and you're fine.
Now, a little bit of movie magic here is that people didn't understand that the real guy that was driving the car was in the back seat with a real steering wheel. So, do not attempt it at home. But
don't let Siri take the wheel.
4 or 5 extra series is after the original one. Maybe they'll get one stick. At least, hopefully, we'll get a David Hasselhoff actual appearance. So that might be kind of good. From there, we're rolling. Godzilla the Detective. I knew it was going to happen eventually. I knew it was going to happen. We were going to run at Toho International and the Ops game, and Hasbro are joining forces to bring us a Godzilla edition of the game Clue. Godzilla board game is set to reach store shelves in September, with copies now available for pre-order at Godzilla. Guess it got chopped off, Godzilla.com, or they could be .co. You never know. It says Clue, Godzilla is set to be
appropriate for players 8 or older.
No, bro. Can't be played by 2 or 6 people at once, with rounds lasting more than 60 minutes. Is built around the story that Manila.
No?
It might be Manila. I don't know, it's a weird name right here. I don't remember this monster. It's missing, or maybe that's maybe Godzilla or something. And the treacherous forces behind his abduction. The found and rescued soon. Godzilla will wreak havoc on a global scale. It's up to you to solve the mystery. Who is the kaiju holding Milima? Let's just go for that hostage. Could it be Rodan or Gorgon? I don't know. I
Is
think
it
it's probably
like
Rodan.
Like the baby Godzilla?
That's
like
what I'm thinking.
Godzuki or something.
I thought he had a different name, but maybe they updated it.
I thought it was Godzuki or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was, but maybe they thought like, that's just not going to work anymore. We just got to give him a better name. I don't know, but I will give credit on this. Yeah, I love Godzilla, but what? yeah, I saw this. I was like, I don't know if Godzilla.
It was Rodan in Tokyo with the fire breath. I mean, what?
Or that son of a gun, Gargitterer. There's a couple. Maybe Mothra, he's sneaky, and so I can see that. But yeah, the board game comes with 6. And they got personal cards, 21 inquiry cards, 6 kaiju movers, 25 action cards. There's a whole crap of stuff. You can even see the board game right here. Wow,
Godzilla with the candlestick in the library.
I gotta give them credit on this one, man. They far reached on this clue stuff. Right here. And first of all, is anybody playing board games? Put that up in the comments if you're still playing board games anymore. But if you are, I don't know if I want a Godzilla based one around Clue, man. That's you kind of taking that. Like again, maybe an actual detective, Sherlock Holmes or something. But
right.
I don't know about Godzilla.
There's ones that seem to lend themselves to it. I would even accept the Detective Pikachu.
I think I would too.
Not
actually.
this.
Find out where some of those damn missing cards are gone, man. All right, from one turn it goes another one. The Fallout Season 2 actually is going to be in December. So, actually, I did not think we were going to get this, but we were just talking about this the other night. Walter Goggins and Anel Purnell are among the cast members featured in the first trailer of Fallout Season 2, which is scheduled for a December release. The new season will pick up in the aftermath of Season 1 epic finale and take audiences along for a journey through the wasteland of Mojave to the post-apocalyptic city of New Vegas. Prime Video announced that the new 8-episode Season 2 will debut on Wednesday, December 17th. I watched the first season of this. I thought it was good. Interesting. I wasn't a fan of the video game, so I had no clue what it was going to be like. I know a lot of people are. A lot of people have their ups and downs, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was good for Amazon Prime. I thought the production was extremely well. I don't know why it takes you 2 years to do 8 episodes, but we talked about that in a private conversation the other night. What do you feel, man? Did you like Fallout Season 1? Or are you looking forward to Fallout Season 2?
I will say I never finished the first season. I got all the way up until like episode 6 or something. I may have skipped either the very last episode or the last 2 episodes. I just didn't get to it. But I liked what I saw of it. This looks cool. I have the Fallout 4 game. It was just I tried playing it, and for a long time I was running around and didn't seem to get anywhere with the stupid game. Yeah. So, yeah.
Commander Bly said never played the game but enjoyed the show. Look, for Amazon series, I thought it was, Amazon does a pretty good job with their Jack Reacher, and they've had a couple other ones, Jack Ryan's, and the bosses. They do is like the one complaint I always have again is like we're taking 2 years to do 8 episodes. When we were coming up, it was like 1 year, and you only got 2 months off, and they did 27 episodes.
I will say that some of these actors, right, like Walton Goggins, he is on at least 2 other shows, right?
True.
He did, in the meantime, Righteous Gemstones, and then he did White Lotus, and who knows what else he's doing.
And he also went back to Justified for a brief cameo in the Primal City one. So, yeah,
I bet, it's stuff like that. That's probably like, hey, we got like the hottest actor that's out right now. We have to schedule this, and it's going to take a while.
But again, when I was a kid, though, Lee Majors was the $6 million man. He was like, doing the All-Star Championship for the ABC characters and everything else like that. He was like, this man was like, he was signing at monster truck rallies over the weekend. That don't give me that, bro. Those actors used to work back in the day. And like I said, Meek said Fallout New Vegas was a really good game. And Meeks would know, being the joystick junkie, he would definitely know that. If you guys aren't catching his updates on all the stuff that's going on in video game worlds, and they're in short format, so you don't even have to sit through them long. He's going to give you a little informed thing about the world of video games. So thank you, sir, on that one. All right, so hey, man, we've gotten to the whole part where we've obviously hit up this, but guess what, man? We got some rumor alerts going. That is right, and everything. The rumor alert. There's some rules to rumor alert, and actually, all right, Steve. Give credit. A grain of salt is one where it's probably a lie. Half truth could be middle truth, middle lie, and then there's a pure fact. And Dr. Brittley, run us through the rumor alerts of tonight. There you go, sir.
Avengers Doomsday Actors Brawl. Following Marvel Cinematic Universe rumors of Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds having a feud on the Avengers Doomsday set, a new report has emerged about what's going on. Rumors recently surfaced online that Downey was supposedly having conflicts with Reynolds over a poorly timed joke. Well, that sounds about right for Ryan Reynolds.
It does.
However, People has now revealed that Downey and Reynolds' alleged feud is nothing but a rumor, as sources close to the outlet are saying there is zero bad blood. People also added that the two actors have never met in person, which is kind of, needed to have bad blood a little bit. You don't have to, but it helps.
Here's this one they say is a half truth. You and I work in Hollywood. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, we do. We had been on some.
I'm going to put that in air quotes too. We work in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like, maybe it is a quotation that you're right, absolutely on that. But the reason why we say it's half truth is that this initially was hit by a couple of people. They were face to face. And I think this is the studio. They probably had to talk with Ryan Reynolds because this sounds exactly. Ryan Reynolds also got a little bit of something with The Rock when they were on Red Notice, and there was like a really big blow up. So that's why I said I think this is a half truth. I think that the poorly truth, because where did they come up with a poorly timed joke? So that's what kind of led me. When you get too descriptive with the truth, then there's a point, because it's like, well, if they never met, where was a poorly timed joke come from? So I got to think that this was something of a half truth. I think they got into it. I think it was squashed real quickly. Both guys are huge stars. Normally this kind of stuff happens on the set. There's a misunderstanding, a blow up. People go back to the trailers, and then the next day it's kind of like blowing through because the director said enough. I think it's a half truth. I think studio just trying to clean this up a little bit, but Ryan, maybe you want to act a little better on the set, man.
And also, these are the two that they cannot afford to have mad at each other, right?
Yes.
They're paying Robert Downey Jr. somewhere between $50 to $100 million to come back for this stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ryan Reynolds is probably working on about that much as well because of all the Deadpool stuff. It's the only thing that's making money right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to make sure that this is a well-oiled machine. They can all do press together when the time comes, all that stuff. And they don't want any, reporter going like, so there was a rumor on the set that the two of you, it's like, oh no, that was all BS.
And let me tell you something. That's when you know if it was true or not. If you see them doing the press junket and they're all in a room, you see one on the opposite side and one on, then you know there's a lot of truth to this, because,
or if they're joking, because look, a lot of times you can see people joking with each other, but there's like the veiled threat kind of a joke where it's like, oh, that didn't sound right. Something's off between those two. You can tell. People, even being as nice as people are on a talk show, there's times you're like, Oh, don't mess with her.
True. You know it's it down. So again, half truth. We'll see though. Final thing will be taken once we see him doing the press junket for the Doomsday thing. Then you'll know there's a problem. Next rumor, Dr. Brentley.
Has K-pop Demon Hunter sequel already been greenlit? Green-lighted, whatever. Steve doesn't care about tense.
He don't care.
Sony Pictures is in talks with Netflix to make an animated sequel to K-pop Demon Hunters, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. The fantasy musical has turned into the sort of cultural sensation every Hollywood studio or streamer tries to hunt down, even at great expense, but rarely finds. The events of the past few days, including Netflix dropping a surprise sing-along version of the Sony Pictures animation film in theaters over the August 22 to 24th weekend, or Demon Hunter becoming the most watched English language film of all time on the streamer. That's crazy. As further evidence of that, the film recently topped the domestic box office with 19.2 million via a 2-night only sing-along event. And the other thing about this is I believe this is Netflix's first time having a number one box office release.
Yes.
You know, all the movies they've ever done, it was all like smaller scale. They haven't put out anything. But this was so big, even on a smaller scale, that it blew everything else of theirs out of the water. And it's their most watched English language film. That's crazy.
Well, a couple of key things on this. One is like whoever the individual over at Sony that decided to put this on Netflix, and then Netflix, the individual over there that said, "Hey, let's make a sing-along version that we can put in the theaters." So there's if you're at Sony, might want to rethink of some of those people there. Get their boxes for Monday morning, and if you're over at Netflix, somebody's getting a promotion over there. So it goes two ways. And just something that I found out because I was talking a little earlier today is that again, like Dr. Brent and I, quote unquote, work in Hollywood and everything. Our agency was in charge of this K-pop deal. So just to say that
they're making money.
Call us, brothers. We get blues in the blues in the concrete hunters. We could come up with something. Sure.
No. I think the way to go is K-pop. So it's like K-pop vampire hunter.
K-pop, why don't we just do like boy band werewolf hunters? Do like the Backstreet Boys. Right, like we're giving people away this shit. Hold on, this is pure gold. This could actually sell at a point. Look, I'm happy for them. I'm glad that the sing along and everything. Getting it. Obviously, a bunch of people took their. Whoever was interested into this in the films, I bet you this was a lot of also kids that were actually those tickets. So 19.2 million is pretty good for that. I like anything that excites everyone. It even is 4 or 5 songs is on the top 100 Billboard charts. So this was a really bad fumble if you're Sony, and if you're Netflix. Wow, the envisionment and everything you saw over there. So it's like. And the same thing we could say about Paramount, like a couple of years ago, when they didn't want to release Axel F in the theaters, and they said give it to Netflix, and then it becomes this huge thing. And like it would have done well. Sometimes this is a lesson for these studios: gamble on yourself and put this stuff out, man.
Yeah, and also the music in this obviously is striking a chord with people, and
it is.
They should do more of this kind of thing if that's what people want.
Absolutely. And Commander Bly, I should have known. All right, brother, I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. We'll have to come in. We might be a much lower number than that, but it said thanks, Alex. I just bought the domain, but you can have it for us. That is it and everything. Boy band werewolf hunters. Like Commander Bly, we're willing to give you a co-creator kind of thing on that one. So we'll talk about this later, man. Other than that, my friend, that is the end of Rumor Alert for tonight. Since Naked Gun is in the theater, every time I see that, it just like it's it always gets me when he goes into the Death Star because damn it, it's somehow it looks like it's meant for that to happen. I don't know why. Guys in the back, I give them credit for the production. Every now and then, it always has me off. Hey guys, if you haven't, make sure you're subscribing. Again, on Friday nights we do this. We also do this on Wednesdays. You know, everybody, we're trying to get those counts out. So anybody out there, replay crew, it's on you. Like I said, when we're done with this and everything, so tell everybody, hey, these guys, they do something on Friday night, sitting at home and chilling out. If you're like Commander Bly, where you're actually in the basement working on some damn great hats for some Star Wars lore, yeah, definitely, you know, look, wood makers, ship makers, whatever you're doing, you know, just tune in, put us on in the background. We got some upcoming events, Dr. Brentley, and you know, courtesy of our buddies over at Toy Box Chronicles on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Times, and our buddies over at Powered by PlasticNews.com. Get all your trusted source and news there. We got a couple events coming up, September 26th through the 28th. The entire crew, Meeks included, Shadowe included, all of the guys that you rarely ever see. Steve,
some of the Sarlacc Digest guys.
Some of the Sarlacc guys are buddies over at Odd Frog Entertainment. They will have the 112 spectacular vehicle called the Bandido. That will definitely be there under glass like Pheasant. It will be there. David Vonner, Vonner Studios is going to be with us. And guess what? Our publishing partner, Tony, over at Advent Comics, will actually have an actual issue of Southside that will have actually featured David Vonner, Kelly and Eddie from Odd Frog, and the Bandido with his character Dalton Malone. So that's actually kind of cool. You can get the Bandido. I've heard they got some car fresheners with the Bandido logo on it.
Nice.
You can see the Potbelly Panda crew, and I'll give you just a little point. The guys are hard at work on this. This is just a little bit of a sample, but designer toy, the Potbelly Panda crew from a forgotten about 90s cartoon show. We will be debuting that. So it's a designer toy. It's also in a blind box, so you can come over there and pick those up at the convention. They'll be limited to a special small run for that, and they will be LA Comic-Con exclusives. You can actually pick that up, and again, that's the 26th through the 28th at the LA Convention Center. So the best part about this, you know, there's no excuse. There's parking. There's all kind of stuff. There's food. There's all kind of crazy things to go down there. Matter of fact, I heard they even make like alcoholic beverages you can walk around and drink. So you can get your toys and your comics and actually get yourself a Mai Tai. So it's the place to be if you could be on that date.
I might be doing that because I'm going to be behind the booth. So
I'm definitely going to be doing some drinking.
Having a Mai Tai might help.
Yeah.
and that's on the West Coast.
Yes.
What's happening up that weekend if you're on the East Coast?
I know. This always makes a bad Commander Blast says Steve killed it with the bumpers. Yeah, I told you, see, he's going to get that invite to LA Comic-Con. I'm going to tell you that, man. If you're on the, not technically the East Coast, but, the South, they kind of call it. But if you're on that point during the same weekend, 26th, 28th, Brett, one of the better guys who runs conventions in the United States. He runs JoeLanta. He runs this. He's getting his hands into a whole bunch of different conventions. He has JoeLanta that is taking place that weekend. And our good friend, Marcelo over at Uru Toys, who has this magnificent 112 and 118 version of the Night Wolf. And he will be there with a lot of other things. Like I said, have Ace and everything. Supposed to get that prototype someday in the future. He's got a whole bunch of action figures, everything. Hey, he's going to be there representing us there. And it's a great show. It's in Duluth, Georgia. Great convention center. So if you can't make it to the West Coast, then make it to the South and go there. And if you're into Joe's, and they have so many great vendors that show up to that event. And I don't know if our buddies at the Purple Gang will be at that show, but they're normally at Toy Atlanta. So I have to check and see if they'll be there too. But that's a great show to go. JoeLanta on Duluth, Georgia on the 26th through the 28th. So you got two great shows going on that weekend. I will mention that we will be live streaming directly from the floor at LA Comic-Con. So, and we're also that Friday, we're going to do another, Good Morning Toy Box live from actually the convention floor. So there's going to be some interesting stuff happening that weekend. And in October, one of the last major conventions of the year, the New York Comic-Con from New York will be taking place from October 9th through the 12th. Every major vendor that you can think about, every major toy company, every import company will be at that event. This is one where we'll probably announce a bunch of stuff at as well. So if you can't make it to LA, can't make it to Georgia, you can make it you live on the East Coast, go to New York Comic Con, man. You know, you're definitely gonna have a good time there. We won't be there in October, I can tell you that. But you got a chance to see some of us or some of our buddies at these two events and everything. Looking forward. And again, thank the guys over at Plastic News for sponsoring that tonight. Hey, man. You know, I gotta say, I think we need to just do this all the time. I think it needs and Storm Show. I think we need to do that, but we got some stuff planned. You know, it's been a while because, again, we work in Hollywood. We don't always have a lot of time. But a couple of years ago, we introduced the retrospect, and then we one-upped it with the retrospect vault. So we had 2 Octobers that normally hit pretty good. If you haven't seen the retrospect, we did a show on all of the old classic Hollywood films, monster movies, and we did their counterparts. And then the next year, we did a Night of the Living Dead retrospect vault drop, which was actually kind of cool. Well, we're not done. We got something planned for October that's going to drop, and it's got some monsters in it, maybe a little comedy. So we're going to tease you on that. But the retrospect is coming back with Dr. Brentley and Mr. Storm. So look for that in October. And of course, always check us out on Wednesdays, Storybox Chronicles. On Fridays, make sure you're checking us out right here on the Shadow Knows Network. Not to mention, also, I will say this too, every other Monday, the Sorlac Toy Chest over on the Sorlac Digest podcast channel, myself, Tommy, there's Darth Moocher, and Scott Solo. We actually do a Star Wars toy show over there. Wednesday, start off the night with Toy Mercs on Toy Mercs Live, then come for Toy Box Chronicles, and then stay for the Sarlacc, or we like to say the best damn Star Wars show on the planet, Sarlacc Digest podcast on Wednesday nights. Friday again, Pixel Planet Inc. And guess what? On Saturday, Purple Gang live. And let me tell you something, when I say live, our friends are live. And if you're listening to us through all of our different networks and everything we're on, or if you're listening to us through plasticnews.com, you can catch that. And over our friends at Bandido Radio, Action Figure Frequencies plays over there. Purple Gang's got a show over there called Full Frontal Purple. Make sure you're tuning over to the Bandido Radio 112 FM YouTube channel for all that stuff. I don't know if we have anything else to hawk other than plasticnews.com and Holy Grail Toys and all of our buddies there. We were supposed to have some news about Godzilla tease, but we're going to wait till all the guys come back, and also thank our partners over at Kid Robot for sponsoring some stuff as well. Dr. Brentley, got anything else before we go into the never sphere of just sitting around this weekend not doing a damn thing?
No, this is nice. A lot of space out here
It
now.
It is. Tell you, man, I can't wait to do the retrospect or something else like that. It's like, wow, like I said, we're able to get the word in and everything. Maybe, maybe we should invite Steve to come on the show. Maybe one night we'll actually ask Commander Bly to, stop, put down the Woodscraft stuff and everything and stop making stormtrooper suits and pop on the show with us, because we love to have that happen. But, hey, check out our Discord, check out our Instagram, our X's and everything. DM us with your questions. Make sure you tell the Reaper Clue to check it out. But hey, man, we're done this week, and let me tell you something. Now, Mr. Maddox has his own saying. I'm going to tell you this and everything. Enjoy your life. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. Just have fun with whatever you're doing. If you're not enjoying it, that's a good sign to stop. Have a good weekend, everybody. Be safe for Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day.